So this was held in the same place where Jungkook's golden exhibit was. So same place, same size of the area. It's just that Jimin's, there were, I think, more like content in Jimin's exhibit because he had two albums, and the approach was very very different. When I discussed Jungkook's exhibit 2 streams ago, I think, I specifically, one of the main observations that I had is that the chapters were actually Jungkook's main performances. That was the chapters in that served as the chapter for each of the section of the exhibit. For Jimin, the chapter is actually the songs. And I think it's because they wanted to share more of Jimin's creative process and thought process when he was writing the songs. And even Who, which he didn't write but actually thought of. So I thought actually he should have been credited as a producer. But anyway, that's another story. Even for Who, there's a lot of stories to be told, and I think they were able to achieve that end. Okay, so when you go in, it's such a beautiful entrance, by the way. When you go in, this is one of the first things that you're going to be seeing, and then an explanation on the interlude. So they did this per song. You are going to see an explanation for each of the song in his album because he basically had a hand in the either the production. Well, I'd say 99%. He was actually 100%. He was involved in each of the in the process of the creation of each song. And as we know, Who he didn't write, but he was the one who thought of it. So they have this type of a board in each of the songs. So the section is actually divided per song. And so of course we go into Face first. It's such a beautiful entrance, I thought. And then you have this floor to ceiling picture of Jimin. And my mom's first reaction is that his skin is so smooth. It's so beautiful. He was really, it's just that, of course they photoshop this thing to correct it, but whatever. But I mean, all photos in an exhibit was actually photoshopped, but his skin, you can just see how stunning it is. So, and then on the other side of that, you'll see another big photo of Jimin. And then here, like a stone. So if you can, I spent enough time to actually read each of the board to make sure that I appreciate what he was trying to do. And I was glad that I kind of got it right, that it was really more, his first two albums was really more about his creative journey. It was him trying different ways, like experimenting what he can really do as an artist. So that was more of it rather than the pursuit of sales or awards or recognition. It was more about him just experimenting, just taking a step back and asking himself, okay, what kind of an artist are you? So as you explore Jimin's creative journey, allow the surfaces in this space to reflect your own self. Observe how your image distorts and shifts with each change in the surface. And this is true. And you have to actually be um, aware of it. Otherwise, you won't get it. Like the different surfaces will actually distort your own looks. If you look at the mirror, if you look at a certain surface, it's going to distort your own look, which reflects what he was trying to experience, what he was trying to say in his albums. Like there are different facets of a person, and whatever is happening in our lives can actually distort or affect us as a person. So this is one example of that surface. So if you come close, you're going to see how your face actually gets distorted. This part, so this board actually changes. It's a moving one. It's a video. So it goes there, and then it ends with his name Jimin. And then there are big photos. So I took, just like in Jungkook's exhibit, I tried to take a close up of each of the photo in the exhibit. So I have more, like I think I have 600 plus with Jimin. And I'm not going to show everything here because that's going to last us like 5 hours. So I'm going to upload it in Patreon and you can just take a look at it. I'll divide it per section. Okay, so but in each one of the things that I did, just like in Jungkook's exhibit, is that I also, as I take a picture of each of the image that they hanged, I also tried to get as much of the details. So there's a tight shot of each of that so that you can actually see the details of each photo, because I know that you like seeing details. So for example, once you go in, there are a lot of photos that are hanged. I took a close-up of each of those photos. That's why I have like 600 of them. And then so for example, so the first space is the interlude, and then we go into crazy, inspired by the movie. So they told the story on how it actually developed. And then I took a picture of each of the board, but then I also took a close up of their of the image, like the details that I know you will like. I took a tight shot of those. So that's a his tattoo. And then on the back they have this, but I also took a tight shot of the tattoo on his back, so that you can actually see the texture. It's so different, like it's not a solid one. I don't know if you can see clearly, but you can see like it's not just solid black. There's texture in the, I guess, yeah, texture, I think that's the right word. There's texture in the actual tattoo, so you can really put your face against the back, the photo, not his back. And then that's a photo. We know where that is. One side is young, and then the other side is forever. So just like the moon tattoo, this one is not solid if you actually look at it very, very, very close, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why he did it that way, but and then you go into, and then there are some things that they put there that allowed me to actually really appreciate the picture, if because it's bigger and I can actually really go close into the picture, like that goo on the floor. You can actually see it better in person, but you'll get to see like the amount of detail that in the set. And then he was barefoot. I kind of knew it, but it just didn't register in my head. So when I saw the picture, I was like, oh yeah, of course he was barefoot. And then there are pictures like this is one of my favorite photos, by the way, that they took. I don't know who did the behind the scenes of the shoot, but he should be given an award. This is such a beautiful photo in person. And then whenever you transition into a new space, there's like a hallway where there are markers for the next song. So for this one, so we're still at Like Crazy. There are the lyrics, some of the lines. I think these are his favorite lines in the song. You can actually see it there on the board. I also took very, very close shots, tight shots of many of the photos. Like this one is another favorite of mine. Tight shot of his hand, of his rings. He has a beautiful, beautiful hand. Look at those cheeks. So nice to pinch. I love this part. I need a way that we can dream on. I think I remember him saying that this is actually his favorite line in the song, actually his favorite line in the entire album. So that's why it deserved its own board. Okay, and then in this part, there's a place where you can just sit down and watch the video that was playing, and it's a summary of the not the documentary, but the special that they uploaded on YouTube. So, okay. And then alone, as I've said, per song, they would do this to explain what Jimin wanted to communicate or why he actually wrote the song. Another great picture, floor to ceiling, almost floor to ceiling. It's so big. And then we go into Set Me Free. Okay, so in one part of the board, all of these pictures here, I have a tight shot of all of that. So if you're in my Patreon, you'll see all of those pictures. This is another favorite of mine because if you go really, really tight, my God, he's beautiful. Jimin is a beautiful human being. That's all I can say. That's perfection right there. And then there are more pictures for you. It is, yeah. So that's him. And then I took a tight shot of the writing on his body. So they wrote something there. And then I know people are going to ask me, like, why didn't you take a tighter shot of the navel? So I did. There you go. That's his navel. Some people found it weird that I was like going really, really close into the picture. But I thought, well, my subscribers are going to want to see his navel. So there you go. That's his navel. And then this part, you can actually see the Nevermind tattoo that he has. I don't know, for young armies here, I don't know if you know this, but when he got that tattoo, there was like, uh, there's like a, I mean, I think a 2 year debate on whether it was fake or it was true. Because people couldn't believe that he would tattoo on his body the title of the song that Sugar wrote. So it's like, no, it can't be true. But yeah, it is true. I think now we know it is true, and you can get a glimpse of that here. Celeste said, Amen. His body is worth celebrating, even his navel. The Bio Explorer. It was fake for a while, yes, and then he made it real. Another favorite picture, I just love this angle. And then you go into this section. So once I'm not showing you everything because there's so many pictures that I took. As I've said, I'll just upload them in Patreon. So once you finish an entire section, once you finish the Face album and you go through each of the songs, you will see Jimin's diary, which actually has, I don't think this is the actual writing, the actual paper where he wrote his notes, where he wrote the lyrics. So I'm pretty sure this is a scanned one, but at least you'll be able to, well, if you have the album, the Weverse version, then you should have that. But then for here, this will give you a chance to actually look at it bigger, the lyrics sheet that he has and his writing. So on the other side, so that's Jimin's diary. Jimin has written the lyrics and composed the tracks for Face, and his handwritings offer a glimpse into his relentless reflections and thought process. The big screen filled up with letters and words of the lyrics Jimin has carefully deliberated is a mirror to his inner side. So this, the board that he's talking about is on the other side, this one. But this one is actually, it moves, it's a video, it's not a picture. So it starts with that, and I think this is the writing is follows the the order by which he finished the lyrics of each song. So it starts out blank, and then the writing starts happening. So more and more until everything is there. So here, this is the finished product. Okay, and then you can of course go into look at the each of the lyrics sheet that he has and really look at his handwriting. So I didn't put everything, it's just so many, but that's one example. Jimin's belly button is so cute. Faces of Face. So and then we go into the where you will see his wardrobe. I'm not going to show you everything. So this is, I mean, I'm not going to show you a tight shot of each of the clothing. There's just so many pictures that I took. But what I did is in Patreon, you will see a wide shot of the picture where he's wearing that specific wardrobe, and then a close up of the wardrobe. So that's all the wardrobe that he wrote for the promotion of Face. So I took tight shots of each of those clothing. I didn't even realize that there's like a fringe at the end of the pants. And then I took a tight shot of all of that, so you can see like the studs and all. I love this shirt, by the way. So okay, so again, after that they'll wrap up that section and tell you, just to give you a more summarized idea on what Jimin was actually trying to communicate. And then to break Face and Muse, there's the trophies of Jimin. So I took a tight shot of each trophy, but in the middle, oh, by the way, so there's this, you will see this here, top 5 K-pop songs for 2023, Spotify Wrapped. So that was 2023. So I'm so excited because then he's going to get more for 2024, because he ended up in the top 5 of different cities in the US. And it's crazy that in LA, number one was actually Like Crazy. His song from 2023 is ranking number one in 2024. And then he got Muse. I mean, he got Who for others. So I'm excited that he's going to get more of that. And of course, Who is the most streamed K-pop song in South Korea for 2024 as well. So he's going to get more of that. So I hope they do another exhibit. And this is the centerpiece of the wall, and that is his number one Billboard Hot 100 for Like Crazy. Again, it's going to give you an idea on what they actually really, I mean, what ranking they really are excited about. So, love that. So, I did not know that there's like a Forbes trophy or recognition or something, but there you go. This is Mama, and this is Hanto. Okay, so there's a lot more. And then in the center is Jimin's letter when he wrote the letter that he wrote to armies. So it's there. I don't know if that's I'm guessing it's not the actual letter. That's probably a replica or a copy. And then he is using two mics. So one is I think the silver one is the one that he uses when he is with a group, and then the black one when he is solo. So this one is pretty flawless, no missing piece, no missing stud. And then you can also see his in ear. That's his in ear. I think this is the actual in ear that he uses. And then we go into the Truth Untold, which is the um, muse. So the first section is La Letra, which is the teaser for his video. This section, this is actually moving. It's not a picture, it's a video. So it opens empty, and then Jimin starts walking in. And then they recreated, what a beautiful face, right? So they recreated the actual room, and you can shoot your own music video. I mean, your own teaser. You can recreate the teaser, do it yourself. My mom did. So I took a picture of her, a video of her actually doing what Jimin did. And then you go into Who. They sort of recreated a miniature version of his music video, the set. Okay. So Rebirth, I don't know why they included. So this part where V was it visited him in his rehearsal, they actually have many photos of that. And then you go into Who, and this is the actuals, not the actuals, the miniature set to represent the set of Who. And then just like the La Letra set, you can recreate or shoot your own music video. The only thing is that there's so many people there, but you're free to do it. That now, for as long as you can't take videos, so you can only take pictures, you can't take videos. Okay, so there are many pictures that you haven't seen, many pictures that you have seen. This is one of my favorite photos of him in the set. I love this photo, by the way. I love the lighting. And then all the wardrobe that he wore for the shoot is also there. And I also took a tight shot of the wardrobe. There is no glass divider between you and the clothing, but you can touch it. And I opted to respect that. So I actually didn't touch it, but I went as close as I could. So in the pictures that I will be uploading, you will see a very, very tight shot of that. I love Rebirth too. Okay, and then there's one section there which was so interesting. So so there's the Esmeralda Garden Marching Band was actually inspired by Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So they have uh, uh, a section there where it looks like a record store. They recreated a record store, so pretty. And then so I have a picture of each of that photo. At the end of it will be what he wore. I also have a tight shot of that. And then there are headsets. And then if you listen to you can listen to the headset, I mean, through the headset, and you will hear each of the song with just his voice. So you can hear his raw voice. And my God, it's so beautiful. His voice is so beautiful. So I have a tight shot of all of that. That's one part, center part, and that's my mom listening to the one of the records. And then I also have a tight shot of this cassette tape, all of that. That So you can't touch it again. You can't touch it. And then many pictures behind the scenes of the shoot of Esmeralda Garden Marching Band and some of his promotion. There's really a lot. So as I've said, I'm just going to upload it in my Patreon. But one, I think it was interesting that they were able to create two unique approaches into the exhibit, two different objectives. I think which is based on the objective of the artist, which is Jungkook and Jimin. So Jungkook was very much about going global, and he made no bones about it, and he was successful in that, by the way. But Jimin really wanted to start inside, like he wanted to first see what kind of an artist he was, and so they were able to really present it and remain true to the objective of the artist. And that's why I really appreciated both, because it gave me a glimpse of what they really wanted to do in this phase of their career. And also, like, if you really have a chance to watch, to go to the exhibit, go, please go ahead and do it, because I do think this, we're just starting to see, they're just starting out as solo artists. And I think by the time that they are done, if they ever are going to ever be done, they're going to be totally different as artists. So it would be interesting to actually witness their evolution. So I think we need, like, as fans, we need to be very aware of what they're actually doing and the phases that they're going through as an artist. Bang Luna, your mom is our model avatar. Yeah, and she loves taking pictures. She doesn't complain. If I tell her to pose, she was like, sure. She actually likes taking pictures. I don't. She loves taking pictures. So she's like, stand in for me. And Shoulder said, so proud of Jimin that he's finding himself and exploring his talent. Yeah. And I think we need to really be appreciative of that. And this is, I'm saying this because we're talking about Jimin, but this applies to every member of BTS. We need to be appreciative and very aware of where they are as artists and what they really want and how their actual personalities really affect who they are and the kind of career that they are molding for themselves. Um, I mean, RPWP, as we have come to know based on the documentary, which I will be watching tomorrow, he is in a very, like, RM is in a very, very different place as an artist, very different. And that is the way that he thinks his position as a leader of BTS, that has affected who he has become as a solo artist. And the same thing is true with Jimin, with Jin, with Jungkook. They're all in different aspects of they're just different phases. Like for the, especially for the vocal line, they're just starting out really. Because we know that it was the Young line who actually um, took a bigger pie in the creation of the creatives of BTS, and now they're coming into their own. So those are all, each of the journeys, each of it, they're beautiful. We just need to be aware on how different they are, and that is also going to, that will also allow us to sort of explain it to people whenever, especially those that are unreasonable or trying to pity each member against each other. If we understand their objective as artists and where they are as artists, it will be easier for us to explain to these people that comparing them is absolutely useless just because they're in different places already. Um, okay, so it's so intimate that he wanted to be intimate with us. I'm blown away. Yeah, not just, yeah, intimate, and I think more. This is a heart to heart for Jimin's exhibit. I feel like it's more a. It feels more like a, like having coffee with your friend, um, and you just suddenly go into like philosophical and emotional conversation about his life and that's what it felt like he was opening up this side of his emotions in relation to his music. That's what it felt like. Jungkook was more a celebration of what he has been able to achieve in such a short span of time, and Jimin was more like, no, let's just sit down and like let's talk. and get to know each other better. I think that's how I will differentiate those two exhibits. And so once I'm pretty sure that Jin and the rest of BTS members will have their own exhibit, so I'm also very excited to witness and see how theirs is going to be different.